thing. I guess he doesn't have expert opinion. He's an expert at giving his opinion. Stop the train! Stop the train! Stop the train! Stop the train! Stop the train!
Let's talk about this young man here. This is Marcus Stokes. Now, Marcus had gotten himself, last August, he had a scholarship to the University of Florida. So he was going to be taking the field for the Gators come the fall. But unfortunately, young Mr. Stokes put himself in a position, speaking of social media, so there was a video surfaced this past November. He's rapping along with the song, of course he's dropping M-bombs galore. And so Florida said, hey, that scholarship money, so, I mean, him and Reed are in the same boat because, I mean, why they go? Why they go? Squeeze it. All down. So, Stokes wanted to get his scholarship revoked, but what do you know, if HBCU, being Division II Albany State, came to his rescue and offered him a scholarship. Of course, that backlash came on the school president when it got out about what Stokes had done to line up at Albany State. The HBCU Albany State wound up revoking his scholarship then too. And I'm like, how is this kid supposed to atone? I don't think that when you, as a person, should be sent away for racism. All right, I'm always in favor of, like, when they're sentencing a guy for a hate crime, a judge should be like, are you familiar? How are you, sir, with taking Hajj? Are you familiar with that? No? Okay. What about Ramadan? Can you tell me when that is? Don't worry about it. We'll be able to answer those questions because I'm sentencing you to prison and you'll be staying with the brothers. So say goodbye to your pulled pork sandwiches, sir. On one or two outcomes. He's either going to, one, not be a racist anymore, probably come out with Kofi and whatnot, or two, he's going to have a good reason to be racist. Travel is the enemy of prejudice.
Those are no cheese on the train. That's it. Peaceful here.
Hello! Welcome aboard the D Train with Darren, DeVoue on CMPRadio.net. It's the station. Oh, shit. Hello and welcome aboard the D Train with Darren, DeVoue on CMPRadio.net. It's the station as well as the voice of Chester. Thank you for joining us on this another beautiful day in Pennsylvania. This week we're just going to wrap up. We're going to reset the NBA season after the All-Star break. We're going to talk about how reviews can ruin plays and much more. We're going to keep it short today, but before we do that, oh shoot, did I airdrop this photo? We have a new coach here. Oh man, I was so disappointed when, as a Philly expatriate, getting to know the area here in Chester, and over the past few seasons, watching the elevation of the Chester Clippers high school football program. And so when I found out that Coach LaDonte Bell was going to resign, looking for new pastures and what have you, it was a little bit of a disappointment, but life goes on. So recently, it was just announced that Dennis Shaw is going to be the new head coach with the Clippers. His previous background, Coach Shaw has been an assistant with the Clippers for the past 7 years. He recently moved into the role of assistant head coach last year, so he might have been being groomed for the role of taking the stewardship of the Clippers. And little background on the coach. I did not know he ran for over 3,000 yards running for West Catholic High School in Philadelphia, which is my mother's alma mater. So little bit of little bit of a shout out there for Coach Shaw. I would imagine. Wait, I'm thinking, is he a West Philadelphia native now? I don't know. Hopefully, he'll respond to my emails for an interview. Unlike you, unlike Levante, no. But anyway, looking forward to watching what Coach Shaw and the Clippers do this upcoming season. After a couple of DeVoue titles in a row, the pandemic shortened season of 2021, and last season with the Clippers going 10-2 and advancing into the playoffs, losing in the second round. Excited about what could be done there. I got to tell you a little personal story. After calling the games for the Clippers last year, I'm sitting on my way to a third shift about 2 weeks ago, and I'm at the Wawa in Brookhaven, and I'm sitting there pouring my coffee. I see a young man sitting there. I see a Chester Clipper, like fresh, the varsity jacket with the leather sleeves and whatnot. I'm like, okay, player, I see you, got your letters. But then I'm checking his sleeves, because it's got the number and the position. And so I'm like, wait, I was calling games for them this year. I know who that is. Number 10, DeWR. I was about to go off fanboy. Oh my God, that's Jeremiah Gates. Jeremiah Gates, can I talk to you for a second? Can I get a selfie? But yeah. That's I'm excited to see what happens this season, especially because it was brought up by a writer. I can't remember what he writes for. But he brought up that specter because you see it a lot of times. I used to deal with it in the high schools. I mean, even up in the rural areas where I went to high school, let alone in the area like here, where private schools can just come along and snatch some talent. And the guy suggested, right? It was almost you could feel like the final whistle was down on the Clippers' defeat against Downingtown in the playoffs, and my man was talking about the Thomas twins going on to another school, and I'm like, what the hell? Hater? Hate much? Hate much? Answer yes. Don't forget. Let me give a shout out to our sponsors because they keep the lights on. And if you might notice, Dante P, I managed to keep the lights on right now. So let's talk about Pressure Inc. And Pressure Inc. is your one-stop shop for all your apparel and design needs. Pressure Inc. offers custom apparel. They offer silk screen, uniforms, athletic wear, t-shirts, banners, flyers, and more. Pressure Inc. can also help you with your graphic design and business cards. Go to their website at Imprintable Fashion, IMPRINTABLE, all one word, imprintablefashion.com, or check out their Facebook page, or you can go to cnp.net Facebook page and check out our sponsors, or go to cnpradio.net and check out our sponsors there as well, and you can see Pressure Inc. So, moving forward, oh man, last weekend, All-Star break. All right, so we saw it. We all saw it with the draft. It just takes too long. It took too long. It was a slog. And to me, like, you see in it with the All-Star games in pro sports are about to go the way of the dodo bird. Wait, is it dodo bird? They're talking about bringing the dodo bird back. Scientists are trying to why would you try and... Anyway, so the All-Star game with the draft, and you saw how it's taking too long. I think they should do it, if you're going to treat it like a pickup game, because the All-Star game is, in effect, a pickup game, especially for the first 3 quarters. Then the fourth quarter, bonuses and bragging rights come on the line, so that's when cats start GAF, as the kids might say. But I think they should do it more like a pickup game. You got your starters. All right, fans vote on the starters. Okay, so we on the court. You pick from the starters. Both both teams pick from the starters. Then you pick from the reserves. You pick out what you want from the reserves. Keep it moving, and go like a pickup game. I mean, how many times you been on the court? Oh, I played here on the court a couple of times when I was a young fella. Like, yeah, just keeps it moving. Also, yeah, the skills competition. So let's next that. There's got to be something more fun they can do there. I'm trying to think. I don't know. We never did something similar to that. There's got. I mean, you know, they tried horse and what have you. I don't know. They gotta work on it. But with that said, oh man, let's talk about the Sixers. Them damn Sixers, man. All right, so the Sixers lost last night. You saw 110-107 to the Celtics. That moves them. Right now, the Sixers are, 4 games back of the Celtics for first place. 3 games back of the Bucks. Sixers on 7-3 in the last 10. And, of course, they lost their last one to the Celtics. But I'm sitting here, and you know who's not with me and feeling it, especially after watching the Union, who just restarted their season yesterday. Nice win yesterday. Union so the Union last season, Union goes to the finals, loses, right? Then after that, we got the Phillies, goes to the World Series and loses. Then the Eagles turn around, get to the Super Bowl and lose. So now you know it, especially after the Sixers started playing well. I mean, Harden's been balling. Embiid, Embiid had to have 40 points last night. I didn't see that. Let's see. Embiid, 41 points. We had Tobias Harris with 19, Harden with 21, and that was after that big comeback win over Memphis this past week. A little more about Memphis later on. But you just know, after watching 3 Philadelphia teams make the finals for their respective sports and lose, and all these years, people have been, for the past, 5, 6 years, people have been predicting, Sixers going to, you know that the Sixers are going to make the finals this year and lose. It's almost like you can't. Oh, let me check in with because now we're working on this, folks. So hold on, let me go to Facebook.com. And by the way, if you should happen to miss any CMPRadio.net's content, such as new shows Straight to the Point with Miss Adelaide Stevens, or one of our regular shows like Respect for Life with Mr. Keith Muhammad, or I'm feeling a little cold here, I'm about to wrap myself up like Miss Rosa from Miss Rosa and Cool Turk that comes on Mondays on CMPRadio.net. But any of those shows, you can catch up on CMPRadio.net's content at the CMPRadio.net Facebook or YouTube page. Or even if you're watching the show, sometimes things happen. You gotta move, go get the kid teacher call, etc. Just pause it, go handle your business, and you can come back and restart that. There you go. It's the beauty of the internet. So a little bit more. So there go our Sixers are going to make the finals and lose. Next up, let's talk for a second about those Nets. Man, I thought that when that whole Kanye and the the Black Israelites tweet, and they had that whole backlash, and Kanye was bucking back, and they were trying to, for lack of a better word, they were trying to infantilize. Did I say Kanye? I mean Kyrie. They were trying to infantilize Kyrie. And I thought to myself at the time, and I'm sure you did too, dude, they might as well cut bait, and release Kyrie Irving and trade Kevin Durant. Because for all essential matters, that's exactly what happened. So that's where the Nets are. Now, they are going to be stuck, but they should have did that in the first place. Goes to show, man, that whole 2K thing, cats were always talking, oh man, Harden, Durant, Irving, oh man, yeah. If you're playing 2K, that's an awesome team. But it doesn't take into account personalities, people, you know. Speaking of Irving, you know, watching him play, there was a guy, like, you know, what he can do with that ball. And when he's trying to make it finish around the basket, didn't realize a lot of it's not just his talent that plays into it. That cat works out. I found out that when he works out in the off season, he's being D'd by two. Unlike Ben Simmons, who's playing against a 6'2" dude in a local rec league, posting those videos on Instagram, Irving practices against two dudes trying to defend him. And then when those two dudes, behind them is a dude with a stick that's supposed to simulate a 7-footer. So that explains his knack for finishing around the bucket like he does. So talent plus who said that? Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee said talent plus hard work can be unbeatable. Is that the word? I don't know. Anyway, all right. Let me check in here with the live comments. I know my mom has not been watching lately, so that tells me, damn, you suck. Your podcast is a piece of 5-day-old bread, sir. If your mom doesn't even want to. Turn on the Zoom. Turn on the Zoom. I thought I did. Hold on. Technical difficulties with the Zoom. The Zoom. What's the Zoom? Hold on. Let's message him back. P said, turn on the Zoom. Thought I did. Elaborate. Hold on. Elaborate. PLZ. Now you're gonna be see. You're gonna be getting all irritated now. Hold on. This is funny communicating this way. The joys of the internet. All right, so moving on. While I'm waiting for Peter to elaborate, what is the Zoom? I don't know. I don't know what the Zoom is. So while I'm waiting for Peter to elaborate, let's talk more about the NBA. Let's go on to the Pelicans. You know what? I'm sad watching the Pelicans because without Zion Williamson, they've gone, 6-18 without him. And you watch that guy, he's injured, oft injured. I feel like as basketball fans, I feel like we're getting cheated there. But he's so explosive. I mean, he's not a power forward as much as an undersized defensive end. And when he powers up and comes down in the joints, like I could feel the building shake, and I'm not even in the building. So, I just have a feeling that this young man's body is going to betray him over the course of his career unless he starts to become more savvy with it and not so much depend on his ability as much as his basketball smarts. Because I feel like he reminds me, when I watch him play and I see how I'm worried about how we might get cheated, I think of Hank Gathers. And who can't remember when Hank Gathers went down? Who can't remember when Hank Gathers? 90? 91? Yeah. 1991, Hank Gathers was a beautiful basketball player to watch. I mean, he was like a lump. Like you talk about guys that play in the lane. A guy that plays in the lane can either be a bear or he can be a lion. Hank Gathers was a lion, no doubt about it. Mother, good morning. So she is here, so I don't suck that bad. Yeah. And when Hank Gathers went down, oh man, I'm still messed up about that to this day. But yeah, I have a feel, I have a worry that we're going to get cheated like that as basketball fans when it comes to Zion Williams. Man. Speaking of young men that are making an impression on the game, my man, what's his name? The boy. Oh, I didn't include it yet. My man, Ja Morant. And we talked earlier, we talked a couple of weeks ago about Morant's getting into it with, Morant's father getting into it with Shannon Sharp on the bench. And then, there was that highly reported story with Morant, his entourage, laser pointing and during that Pacers game. And, so recently Morant was on ESPN, a week and a half ago, and he had this to say while being interviewed.
Who do you look at around the league as you're studying and say, we're going to have to run through them?
What he said.
Celtics.
Oh, it's not.
No one in the West.
Nah, I'm fine in the West.
Hold on, folks. Hold on. My bad. So, hold on. Shoot. We don't have video for you because I thought I was did it.
Who do you look at around the league as you're studying and say, we're going to have to run through them?
Celtics.
No one in the West.
Nah, I'm fine in the West.
So Morant was being interviewed by many times. She said, who do you have to worry about as far as getting out of the West? And he said, John Morant replied, the Celtics. She said, so you're not worried about anybody coming out of the West? He said, no, we fine with the West. Dude, first and foremost, all right, let's look at the standings here. First and foremost, you're 6 games back of the Nuggets. All right? And you're only 2 games up on the Kings. Not worried about. I watched that young man. I watched that young man play, especially during their little Sweet 16 run when he was at Morgan State. I watched his post-game interview, and I thought I was watching a very grounded fella. He seemed more grounded than that. Than what you just saw, what you just kind of heard in the interview, and the behaviors that we're seeing lately. I don't know. And the interviews where we're the most hated team in the league, etc., etc. Come on, focus, sir. And he's a wonderful player to watch. I mean, he's must-see TV when you watch it. If you're a basketball fan, that fella is must-see TV, no doubt about it. But I'm curious to see. Everybody's talking about the Mavericks now, and with this, with the Irving trade, I'm curious to see what happens. I like the Nuggets. I liked the Nuggets a couple of years ago during that lockout. And then Jamal Murray got hurt. I think that the Nuggets, of course, there's still the Suns to deal with and the 6'11" sharpshooter that they've acquired in a recent trade. Speaking of trades, the Clippers, they shipped off my man, the Patrick Beverley experience. They're trying to acquire that. Oh no, Patrick Beverley's moving somewhere else. Excuse me. They got Russell Westbrook. And I'm wondering how that's going to go because they got rid of all their other point guards, brought in Russell Westbrook, who is another wonderful player to watch, but sometimes it just doesn't jive with the team that he's trying to get with. And we'll see. I'm curious to see that. Oh, Pelicans, by the way, have dropped to 10th in the Western Conference, so they're still eligible for the play-in conference. Keep in mind that they were in first place before Williamson's injury. Speaking of teams trying to make the play-in conference in the Western, and play-in tournament in the Western Conference, the Lakers, who have revamped their whole roster thanks to player, coach, GM LeBron James. So they are in the play. Make no mistakes, the Lakers are in the playoffs right now. All right, it's begun for them. And with that said, oh shoot, I didn't have the basketball thing. Sure enough. But with that said, we are going to take a quick break as I queue up our next round of. I lost. As I lost our next round of stories, I lost my video. Here we go. All right. So, with that said, don't forget. Now, if you got a family reunion or you got an event coming up that you need T-shirts, say if you're a youth coach, you need uniforms. What you want to do is you want to go to Pressure Inc. Pressure Inc. is your one-stop shop for your graphic design and apparel decorating needs. Pressure Inc. offers flyers, banners, T-shirts, athletic wear, uniforms, custom apparel, silk screening, and more. Pressure Inc. also helps with your business cards and graphic design. Go to Pressure Inc.'s Facebook page, or go to their website at imprintable, IMPRINTABLE fashion.com and check out their services. You won't be disappointed when you get there telling you you rode the D train there. You're on the D train on CMPRadio.net.
Nobody leaves the train. We will stop here only for 2 minutes. Captain.
What does she want us to do? She wants us to blow up the train.
Oh, no, you misunderstand.
And you know what? I had these videos off, but now I don't have the zoom, as P said. Where did I screw up there? I don't know. Round, Raggy. Shit's playing. Oh, that's it. Let me turn this down. All right, so with that said, all right. Plays. Anybody go to plays? I like plays. You like plays? No? Romeo and Juliet, things like that. I'm going to get some. I had some passes at the Wilma Theater. They were preview passes, and so I would catch the last preview show for every play that they had during their season. I figured that I'd catch I bought the tickets for the last show because I figured that's when they got most of the kinks worked out before opening night and what have you. But also, sometimes keep in mind when you're watching a play on the last preview show or opening night that is when the review is being written. And a review can make or break your play. So, if you're putting on that play. And so, with that said, we got here Marco Goike. And Marco is the head of the Hanover State Opera Ballet Company. And he's been doing that since 2019. So, Marco has a pet Dachshund. The pet Dachshund's name is Gustav. Let's put a pin in that one for a moment, all right? So, the lady to the right is Wibke Husta, and she's a ballet critic for Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung. Now, Huster was at the Hanover Company's opening on Sunday before last, and this was after printing a review of the Saturday night show. Let's read an excerpt from the review. Miss Husta said, and quote, "One alternates between a state of feeling insane and being killed by boredom." She went on to compare viewing the play to passively watching the sea from behind a glass, left to sit in the warm, looking at a winter beach like in a permanent state of retirement. I don't even know what that sounds harsh, even though I don't even know what it means. So, Goeke saw Houston during the intermission Saturday, and and displayed his displeasure with her review by, now remember Gustav, the dancing Dashan that we talked about a moment ago? Goeke reached in his pocket, pulled out a bag of dog feces, and stuffed it in Houston's face. He threatened to ban the critic during the interval and from entering the Opera House and accused her of being responsible for theater goers canceling their membership subscription. Huster later recounted the incident, saying that Goeke had suddenly pulled a bag from his pocket with the open side of the bag. He rubbed the dog excrement on my face, and when I felt it, I had screamed. Oh, I was screaming too.
That's right, a mess on your hand.
Poop, I would have screamed too. You carrying that in your pocket? She was up to a bathroom where she cleaned herself up, and then she went to a police station. Goeke was suspended Monday after that. In an editorial in FAZ, they described it as a quote-unquote horrendous incident and an attempt at intimidation towards our free, critical, artistic appreciation. The incident shows in its appalling method of physical violence what it is often thought and said in artistic circles about criticism and critics. Listen, that, like, damn, to put it in his pocket though, that he's already committed. He's made a commitment to it, and he's going to keep with it. So Goeke's suspended, but more on that later. We talked plenty of times about incarceration, prisons, and what have you. So George Hill Correctional Facility in Thornton, PA. And so on February 7th, a young man by the name of Amin Hall. Amin Hall's 21-year-old. He's a Philadelphia native. And his name was called for release. Now the problem was, Amin wasn't supposed to be released. Another inmate was scheduled for the release. Hall was awaiting trial on gun and drug charges after his arrest in October, according to court records. He was caught carrying an improvised weapon while in custody and charged in January with possession of that instrument of crime. So they mistakenly released Mr. Hall on February 7th, and now they've issued a warrant for his arrest, saying that he's escaped. And I'm like, I don't know if he's escaped as much as y'all. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that warrant's fair. You have to question the fairness of that warrant. You can't expect a guy, even if it's 2 weeks to go, he might just be like, you call his name, you be like, oh, all right, well, maybe some present. I'm out now. So, or if it's 2 years to go, he's going to do what Hall did, just be quiet as a church mouse. Be quiet as a church mouse on a Sunday before the reverend's about to do the sermon. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Guard gets his little, we'll see you soon. No, you won't. Oh, that's not on him. I don't think he escaped as much as jail officials thought. All right? I'm saying that if Mr. Hall turns himself in, it should be a no harm, no foul situation. Again, the burden's not on him. Oh, well, speaking of the burden being on somebody, where is he at here? This man here. So, this here is, what's his name? Billy Adams, 25-year-old. Billy Adams. And we've been saying for years, we got to get these IQs up around here. So, Mr. Adams was dating this 22-year-old woman, Alana Sims. Sims was pregnant with Adams' baby, in addition to her having a young son that was not Adams. All right? Sims, she wound up being shot in her car while the young son was inside. The boy was found unharmed. Sims thought that she was on her way to a celebration party for Adams because, here's the thing, Adams was acquitted of double murder 4 days earlier. She's like, come on, dude. I get my orders from a higher source. I will. I get my orders from a higher source. He violated again. Adams, so when Adams was questioned about it, because, you know, dude, when you're messing with a girl, I don't know, whenever I've lived with, I've said it before, whenever I've lived with a female, when I'm dating a female, and I'm like, yo, please, let nothing happen to her on my watch, because I don't want to be accused of doing it. Police, of course, rounded Adams up. Adams turned around and gave misleading statements in interviews, claiming he didn't know her, and then he said that he wasn't the father of her child. And then he went on to admit to investigators that he was the father of the child, and he did know Sims, and he retracted his previous statements. Then he also told them that he was the one that pulled the trigger, investigators said at a news conference. At this time, investigators believe that Adams shot and killed Sims because he no longer wanted to have the child or have her in his life. According to the investigator, he was not remorseful, Adams is arrested and charged with murder of Sims and their unborn child. So we got that there.
What did we learn? I didn't listen. No, either. I guess we learned not to do it again. Yes. Find out what we did. Yes, it's hard to say.
How about we learn to put a Jimmy hat on and put the gun away? Let's start with that. Anyway, so we talked before. Oh man! So on February 12th in Palm Bay City, a councilman for Palm Bay City by the name of Pete Filberto. Pete Filberto was on his motorcycle in Palm City, and he pulled over and approached by an officer. That's when Pete Filberto said, "No, not today." He took off on his motorcycle. So with the cop hot on his heels in hot pursuit, Filberto tried to ditch cops. He tried to ditch cops with a sharp U-turn. Instead, he lost control of the bike. Cops got a hold of him. I smell alcohol. Smith refused a breathalyzer. He refused a DUI test. Filberto refused a DUI test and a breathalyzer. Then he was arrested on 6 charges: possession of a controlled substance, reckless driving, driving under the influence, no motorcycle endorsement. Damn, he was just living reckless. Suspended license, damn. And a DUI test refusal, which strikes me as strange because I thought if you refuse the D, that's the automatic DUI. If you just refuse, different states, different laws. So what are you going to do? Anyway, so Filberto wasn't done there because he still had one more charge to go. While being processed into his holding cell, Filberto was told to remove his shoes. And that's when 10 grams of cocaine, that skinny white girl, was found in his possession. What's she? Cocaine's a hell of a drug. So only the governor can suspend elected officials charged with felonies or misdemeanors. If they're convicted on those charges, they'll be removed from office. But Filberto wound up resigning the Friday after that and spared everyone all that. He was elected to office in 2022. Oh, that didn't take long. Yeah, so there you go. Oh, man. Speaking of bad drug busts, these two cats. All right, so what we got here what we got here is Candido Garcia and Alberto Juarez. Now, on February 10th, they're driving a Toyota Tacoma. Oh, but the light over the license plate. They had the light over the license plate wasn't working. And so they wound up getting pulled over. And so the cop pulls them over. He walks up to the car and there's how many? Officer noticed gas cans in the truck bed and the back seat. Doesn't say how many. However, officer didn't smell any gas. Then he looked and he sees one of the cans is leaking, but the liquid is crystallizing. So you're like, oh, what the hell is that? So an investigator was notified, arrived at the scene, and then that's when field tests said that it came back for meth and possibly fentanyl in those gas cans. Overall, authorities seized 300 kilograms. How much is that pounds for us that don't know that measuring system? Hold on 1 second here. 300 kilograms is how many pounds? 661 pounds of liquid methamphetamine that they got off of that the cops got on these two cats. Damn! 661 pounds or 300 kilograms. The DEA was contacted and took custody of the can. Dude. I mean, look at these two. Matter of fact, let's look at Candido. Look at Candido being Candido in his court hearing. He just looks salty right there. Dude, the value of that methamphetamine that they lost, $22 million. Man, listen, if I'm anywhere on these cats' family tree, listen, honey, how are you and the kids French? What? Don't worry about it. It don't matter. We're going to be polybooing some Francais in a minute. Pack up. We out. Because these cats, man, I ain't messing around. They're medieval. They're medieval. Oh, you can see it right there. He's salty. He's like, I just got my mama killed. He knows it. Oh, man. So we like to go on vacations, right? You ever heard the term tourist trap? I worked at one for a few years in Old City. So I've never been to an international tourist trap. But right here, right there, what you're looking at is an 860 euro dollar. What you're looking at is an 860 euro meal. All right, and in U.S. dollars, that's 909 and 24 cents. So this meal, Jessica Yarnall, 31-year-old, and her boyfriend Adam Hagan, they went to Greece and they were on Mykonos. That's an island right off Greece, and they were at the restaurant DK Oyster. So they go into DK Oyster, and Yarnall recounted that there were waiters outside trying to get people in. You know, when they do that, wave in. No, when you go, folks, especially as Americans, and you got Americans written all over you, especially us, you know, we look Black Americans, they can tell us. When they start waving in, just 1 foot in front of the other, keep it moving. All right. So, unlike Yarnall here. So Yarnall saw the waiters waving them in, trying to get people in, and then the waiters asked if they wanted to eat. Yarnall and her boyfriend said that they were going to get one drink, and then they asked for a menu to check the prices to see, believing that the restaurant might be affordable. They saved money for 2 years, according to her, for this trip, so they were going to, splurge a little bit. According to Yarnall, we sat down and talked about whether to eat or not. And the waiters, she said, were very pushy, and we thought maybe that's how it is, and they don't want to be rude. We told her, and then when we asked the waiter for a couple of recommendations, the waiter suggested to Yarnall and her boyfriend the crab legs and the Greek salad. And so that's when they said they would think about it. Roles were brought out to them, and then, according to Yarnell, they were pressured into accepting the food. So then you turn around. Hold on, give me 1 second. Then you turn around. Hold on. Then you turn around. They get the bill. She said, according to Yarnell, she said, Adam looks at the bill and says, it's bad. Because when they initially got brought food, she told them, we didn't order anything yet. And they said, oh, there was a little, they figured out the language barrier, whatever. Okay, whatever. The cost won't be that much. We'll just order it and just eat it. Then you turn around and yeah, they didn't want to be weird about it. They should have been forceful because they got hit with a $909 bill for that. The crab legs. Crab legs are misleading in the menu because it says, it says 30, what's the crab legs price? 34 euros. So that leads you to think you order the crab legs, you're paying 34 euros. No. It's 34 euros a gram, and there's a minimum that you have to order. So not only that, they got hit with a $100 charge for each of their margaritas. And then they looked at the menu and they said, yo, what's up with this? We ordered the margarita. We ain't ordered no $100 margarita. The waiter comes out, slams down a shot glass. He says, that's the $25 margarita. You cats ordered the $100 margarita. She said that they weren't provided a choice. Which I remember when I was waiting tables at Fridays, and they would say, like, if a customer asks for this, give them the double. If he asks for, let me get some Maker's Mark, just give him the double. Like, that doesn't seem cool to me. Like, I don't know. He should know his options. Anyway, so they thought that the worst case scenario was that it would be $300. But then when they got the bill, they were like, yo. Then they looked around the restaurant and they see other unhappy customers like, yo. So, yeah, the server then argued with them, tell them, yo, you got to pay this. All right. And then stop discussing the matter with them. Look on the, what's that? What do they call that? What's that web page? Yelp? Yeah, Yelp. So the Yelp page for DK Oyster on Platis Gialos in Mykonos, right off of Greece, they've got a 2.5 rating. The owner of DK Oyster, he hit back at tourist bad reviews by claiming that they're all influencers looking for a free meal. Despite his denial of the complaints, the restaurant was recently fined more than $30,000 for scamming 2 American tourists. And that was reported by the Greek City Times. Like I said, I can empathize with that because, man, I remember when I went to my first actual vacation. I was in Jamaica, and cats are like, "Yo, brother, come." Yeah, I'm being a tourist. Go on in, and next thing you know, you're getting harassed. Come on, get this. What's your girl's name? I'm covered in this. Just shut the fuck up. I'm just trying to vacation here. Go sit down somewhere. So yeah, after that though, whenever I see the wave, you ain't your wave. You ain't your wave, all right? So, with that said, we're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe anymore. Oh, shoot. So, excuse me. Are we out of stories? I think that's it. Yeah. We got on to a late. Oh, no. Hold on here. Before we go, we're going to wrap it up in a second, folks. But before we go, all right, I don't know if y'all heard, but my man, who this is? So recently, KRS-One, the teacher, got a mural dedicated to him in South Bronx. South Bronx. Lawrence Chris Parker, born in 73. He came up in the 80s and today is known around the world. Says that all of his success, nothing compares to being immortalized in this mural. I grew up here, said KRS. Grew up in this neighborhood and was less than every single person here. I was homeless. And he was very open about that throughout his rhymes. Like in his first 2 albums, he talked about being this. No, shit. Excuse me. Shoot. His first 3 albums, even. The mural was created in celebration of hip hop's 50th anniversary in 2023, which is recognized as hip hop's 50th anniversary. And you can trace its roots back to NYC in the 1970s. So yeah, I botched. We don't have we have P's Weekly here, but it's not set up for this week. The doors. I thought P evicted me because the doors were all locked. I couldn't get to the equipment for a hot second. I said, "Oh man, see how the cats are? It's because I'm corny and I'm from Philly, right? Uh-huh. But with that said, folks, we're gonna wrap it up here today. Next week, I'm trying to get Lucci Loner back, as well as I'm working on another guest, Brian Fitzy. If you ever heard of Loopers? Okay, let me. Oh damn, I don't have this thing hooked up to so I can show you a video of a looper. But Brian Fitzy is a looper, a very talented one with a very diverse portfolio of music. I can't wait to introduce you to him, folks, and introduce him to y'all. I'm looking so forward to that. But in the next week or two, we're going to have MC Lucci Loner back on the show, as well as his entourage. I'm kind of nervous, though, because these rappers nowadays, whew, either they on trial or getting shot. Oh, no. I'm going to tell them, leave your entourage out there, boss. I don't want no smoke. But with that said, folks, thanks for joining us on this week's run of the D-Train with Darren DeVoue. Don't forget, for all your printing and parallel needs, you're going to want to go to Pressure Ink. Pressure Ink is your one-stop shop for all your printer and apparel needs. They offer silk screening, custom apparel, uniforms, athletic wear, t-shirts, banners, flyers, and more. They can also help you with your graphic design and your business website. Now, if you want to get a hold of Pressure Ink, you go to Imprintable Fashion, all one word, IMPRINTABLE, fashion.com, or you go to their Facebook, or go to the Pressure Ink Facebook page, or go to the cmpradio.net YouTube or Facebook page. Don't forget the Boys and Girls Club of Chester, excellent place for after-school programs, getting your kids socialized. Man, damn, these kids need some problem-solving skills nowadays with the socialization. Anyway, so what you want to do to find out about the programs being offered at the Boys Girls Club of Chester, you go to boysgirlsclubchester.org, and you can check out all that they have to offer there. For cmpradio.net's content, don't forget, you can check it out at the CMP Radio YouTube or Facebook page, and you can find out all the shows there, like like Respect for Life with Mr. Muhammad, or Keeping It Real, Keeping It 100, a health show. And we got some financial advice shows coming up. I got to get in on that action because I am what you call not responsible financially. So, with that said, we're going to let y'all go. Please have a peaceful, productive, and positive week. And stay warm out there, even though, again, it is another beautiful day in Pennsylvania. Gerald, thanks for joining us. Mom, I'll talk to you in a minute. And folks, all right, see y'all next week. Be safe out there. Oh, wait. Before we go, all right, let me tell you about your boy and that Eagles loss in the Super Bowl. And so, I'm coming to my boy TJ frequent passenger on the show, TJ's house. So I go to watch the game at TJ's house. We're in the basement. I have a pint of Maker's Mark with me. I'm trying to be just settled because I'm trying to be in that happy place with the Eagles games and whatnot. Not trying to be psycho like I used to be. Yeah. So then cut to me waking up Monday morning seated on the couch. Okay, I'm home. Think to myself, okay, I remember getting home. I remember the drive home. All right. But what happened after I got home? Come to find out, your boy made a total, they were like, yo, you were acting out on your team, man. You was acting out. So, needless to say, I've scaled back on any freaking since then. Complete embarrassment. After I was trying to lecture folks about drinking responsibly, and then I drank sort of responsibly. Yeah, I'm done. So, again, see y'all next week. Hopefully Lucci Loner will be here. I'm going to beat his ear up. And don't forget to check out our upcoming shows. Oh, the Sisters on the Air podcast is later on today, as well as the Cut Up podcast. So we'll see you next week, folks. Be safe and have a peaceful, productive, and positive week.
What shape is it taking? It'll be repaired by morning.
Oh, son of a bitch. He has stage 4 cancer, terminally ill, and he's been vaping THC as well as eating THC paste with bread. You know, they do that to relieve the symptoms of the condition without using the THC so they can eat. And he's been doing this since he's been in the hospital for 3 weeks. Mr. Brett's hospital room raided by cops after a hospital worker called the cops and told them that he was vaping marijuana. Police told Brett that his vaping device could potentially be a fire hazard due to the presence of oxygen in the room. In many vaping devices, puffing activates the battery heat device, and that's how vaporize people. Anyway, that's how that happens. I'm saying, the cops. I mean, come on. If I'm working in the cancer ward and there's a guy in there with cancer or what have you, I'm not only not calling the cops. I'm going to just, hey, DeVoue, listen, how many girls can you send to them? All right, what's the rate? Because we're going to get some lap dancing going on here. You know, because they on their way out. They say he's got like 2, maybe 3 months to live. You call the cops.
Which reminds me, I need another engineer for the option.
On the train.